So, on this occasion, we are looking back at memories of that time and putting yourself back in your shoes then. Uh, did you think you recognized what a huge deal this would be?
Uh, so I came to Shreveport Bossier in 1993, and that was 1 year prior to the opening of Harris Casino in Shreveport. I knew then that it was going to change the economy, and it was going to provide opportunities for many, many people to stay in Northwest Louisiana. And I did think that this was a significant event happening in the Shreveport area. And it was an exciting time for everybody that was involved with it.
What were the headaches getting through that time?
Well, there was the people in Shreveport and Bossier were very welcoming. The community itself was very curious because this was not only a new industry in Louisiana, but it was a new industry outside of both Las Vegas and New Jersey. So there was a lot of people that just needed to get comfortable with what this industry uh, was and is, and what are the opportunities that this industry would bring to the area.
Were there opponents?
There were some people that really, from a lack of understanding, didn't understand from what it may bring to the city. There was a lot of studies that had already been done, so it was pretty well known what was going to happen. And to people that thought it may change the flow of the river. So there were a lot of different things that came up that once they were discussed, it pretty much moved forward. And then along the way, after we were open for a period of time, people saw that this was a good industry and an industry that provided a lot of opportunity, mostly to people who would have left the Shreveport area and that they stayed in the Shreveport area. And there's a lot of examples of people who have built a career in the Shreveport area. I'll also tell you there were examples of the Monsignor from the Catholic Church who put out a notice fairly early that said that for donations they would accept casino chips. And so he was embracing what was coming right from the get-go. And what I found was people that took the time to understand the industry and the people of the industry, they acclimated fairly quickly to it.
That was something that I found interesting in looking back at some of the old footage is we have a number of interviews, sound bites we call them, with people that were framing it as a moral question, as this doesn't go along with our morals being here in the Bible Belt of the South. I thought, given what we experience of gaming today, that was somewhat of it seems very novel now.
It is novel, and again, people what they don't know they fear. And as people began to understand the industry and really the intent of the industry, people became a lot more comfortable. And I think as people saw that it really enhanced the Shreveport and Bossier riverfronts, they became very comfortable with it. Many, many people have had really good lives because of it. They've had health insurance and careers that have lasted for these past 30 years.
There was an interview with you, and you said in that interview that everything had gone smoothly on that opening day, and you were really proud of your team. Obviously, those things, those sentiments were true. But what else do you remember about that day that maybe you weren't ready to divulge then?
Well, it was a day that there was great demand, that we actually had a line of people waiting to get in that went past the bridge that is down the street from us. And there was a lot of excitement for people to experience casino gaming. That was remarkable. We were surprised at that. And I remember it was a very warm day. And so we were outside providing water, bottles of water to people waiting in line. And it was a very festive day, and our team members were extremely excited about the opening of the casino.
Yeah, one of your fellow industry executives has said there's nothing like a casino opening day. It's like the biggest party there is.
It was definitely that day, and there was you could tell in the Shreveport area, the people that lived in Shreveport were proud that the casino was opening up and that it was the start of a new industry for Shreveport Bossier.
And that was before any of the hotels had gone up, correct?
That was we later built the hotel that is part of Sam's Town right now, and then Horseshoe came in. They also built a hotel, as did other casinos that came in and built hotels.
Was that always part of the plan that there were going to be these accompanying hotels, or did you realize at a certain point that a lot of your demand was coming from outside the area?
Well, we knew a lot of the demand was going to come from outside the area. We knew that the major market was going to be the specifically Dallas and Fort Worth and that East Texas corridor. So we believed that we would see great growth in the market. But at the same time, gaming was opening up in Mississippi. It was opening up in Missouri. It was opening up in many, many parts of the United States. And so the industry at the time was a relatively small industry, only located in Las Vegas and New Jersey. The industry was also trying to figure out how it was going to grow and whether or not that gaming would be receptive in the different communities that it went into. So everybody a little bit was learning as they went along.
It seemed like from reading the historical records that it was somewhat sluggish as far as getting the process moving on the Shreveport side, and that the Bossier side, for whatever reason, moved much more quickly. And so that ended up being a little bit of a race at the end, it felt like, to get, who could get open first. You did, and then the other entities, though, is still trying to jockey to get open as quickly as possible to grab part of that market share. Was that the experience at the time?
That our experience was we wanted to open a quality facility. And so we weren't rushing to just open. We wanted to make sure our team members were very well trained. We wanted to make sure they were comfortable in taking care of guests. And in addition to the casino, we had food and beverage as part of our offering. We had valet parking. So there were other components of the property other than the casino operation. So we were really focused on let's make sure we have the facility ready for our guest, and more importantly, that our team members felt comfortable in opening up. The majority of our team members came from Shreveport Bossier. Just those that needed to help train people came from more traditional gaming areas. But I would tell you that 90% of the people who started with us, and we had about 1,600 people when we opened up, they came from the local area.
And a lot of them are handling amounts of money in transactions that are very quick and that they're having to figure out in their heads that they've never done that before.
Well, part of their training is to understand how all the processes work. Now, casino gaming is very highly regulated. And so before you could even open your casino, you actually have a multi-hour mock casino with a number of people from the state police. That probably was the most anxious moment for everybody, is when we were waiting to get passed by the Louisiana State Police to be able to open up the casino. And then that happened, and we passed the first time, and we opened the next day after that.
What a story to tell. Is this something that you think, I don't know if you have grandkids, is this the kind of story that you tell the grandkids about this experience of opening the first casino,
Well,
riverboat casino?
I have five children. The fifth one was born in Shreveport at a hospital in Shreveport by a Shreveport physician who's become a dear friend of ours, and we stay up with Dr. Popwell and his wife. We today have 12 grandchildren, and two are on the way. And I have got to tell you, I am very proud of what we did back in 1994 when we opened up Harris Shreveport. I'm most proud with the people and having watched them grow. So people that were 2021 are now in their mid 50s, and when I interact with them, I'm most proud of the fact that they've had a wonderful career, and many of them have gone. I'll give you an example. There was a gentleman. His name's Michael Weaver, and Michael Weaver was the head of marketing for the Shreveport Symphony. Michael joined us, had zero experience in casino, joined us as our head of marketing. Today, he is an executive with Wynn Resorts worldwide. And it all started in Shreveport. And so it's those stories that I'm really most proud of.
And and even in the individual stories, but also in the mess. I mean, you talked about 1,600 employees when you started. Over the years, that had to have multiplied tenfold, if not 30-fold.
Well, there's been a lot of people who have made a career not only at the property that we had. We then bought along the way Horseshoe Casino. So the company I was with, which was Caesars Entertainment, bought Horseshoe Casino, and then later I was the CEO of a company that owned Boomtown. So I have spent a lot of time in Shreveport Bossier and consider that a one of our homes in during my career and my life. And we have many friends that still live in Shreveport and Bossier.